Holy sh! Dragons exist in history. Hello, I'm MUAHHAHAH YouTube. Welcome back to another video. My name is Saphwyn, the silly geek VTuber, and today we are reacting to the 15 minutes of history facts you'll never need to know. AKA, I am pop quizzing you guys at the end of this video. I'm not actually. Why would I do that? That's so silly of me. Or unless, got you. I'm kidding. But welcome, and I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. If your day isn't going great, I will give you a virtual head pat right here. So take a virtual head pat, and I hope things get better for you. Anyways, before we dive into the video, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We are so close to our 20K goal, and I would love it if we could hit 20K subs over here. I react to a variety of content. It's all over the place. So if you like reactions, if you like my vibe, my personality, hit that subscribe button and catch another video of mine. Also like the video while you're at it. Let's dive in now, shall we?
History.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Poland had a bear soldier that served during World War II. His name was Wojtek, and
Bro, we literally watched a video on this a while ago. Hey, yo!
he was a good boy. In 1386, France executed a pig that killed a child.
What?
It was arrested,
How did the pig kill a child? Wait. What? Did the pig run the child over?
faced trial, and was hanged. Poor thing. During the Great Depression, people would often resort to using potato sacks as clothes. Ancient Mayans worshipped turkeys, as they were seen as vessels for the gods. The 60s
Imagine worshiping a turkey. They're like, I like turkeys, but I feel like turkeys are very, very silly little creatures.
9th and 420th words of the Declaration of Independence are to and districts. The Ford Motor Company was founded in 1903 and hasn't produced a good car since. It's said that in Ohio in 1895, only 2 cars existed across the entire cursed state. And they crashed into each other. Famous scientists.
Nah. Ohio, honey. How do you have only 2 cars in your entire state and find a way to crash them together? Ohio, are we okay down there?
Albert Einstein was once offered the presidency of Israel. He turned it down. The British Empire had
Is Albert Einstein? No, why was he offered a presidency there, huh?
around 120 colonies at its height in the 20th century. Robert Lincoln, son of U.S. President Abraham Lincoln, was present or nearby during 3 different presidential assassinations.
Oh, Jesus.
He was just a few blocks away from the Ford Theater when Papa Abraham caught a bullet in the back of his skull.
Bro!
He was an eyewitness to President Garfield's assassination and also experienced President McKinley getting absolutely cannoned in the chest.
Can you call him a bad luck charm though, or what? Like, is this considered a bad luck charm? Maybe?
Afterward, little Bobby Lincoln refused any future invites to presidential events. William Higginbotham, a physicist who worked on the atomic bomb, invented the first video game in 1958 using an oscilloscope. He called his creation Tennis for Two. It was a precursor to Pong. About 4%.
Imagine having to work and then your coworker is just out here discovering how to play video games. He's like, hold on. I gotta beat this game. I gotta get the ball into the wall. Bro, chill. %
of the Normandy beaches are made up of leftover shrapnel from the D-Day invasions of World War II. The first European settlement in present-day Uruguay was formed in 1527. It was called San Lazaro and was, you guessed it, a Spanish settlement.
Wow.
Ancient Roman warships were equipped with huge fucking flamethrowers that were used in naval warfare. They called it Greek fire, and boy was it effective. In the year 1204, Valdemar II of Denmark was recognized as king in Norway.
The second of Denmark was recognized king as Norway? No, I can't.
Ketchup used to be sold as medicine in the 1830s.
What? How? Yo, put this ketchup on your cut and everything will be okay? How are you selling ketchup as a medicine? How?
George Washington died on December 14, 1799 at the age of 67. His last words were, "'Tis well." In ancient Greece, skirts were considered manly and pants were for women. Nothing like letting the boys breathe, you know?
Yeah, no?
The record for the world's longest stare was set in 2011 in Australia. The loving glare lasted 41 minutes straight.
You're keeping... No! How did you keep your eyes open for 41 minutes?
And 0 minutes gay.
I hate it here. Okay.
French monarch King Charles VI suffered from a psychological disorder called the glass delusion, where he was thoroughly convinced that his entire being was made out of glass, and thus likely to shatter into pieces at the slightest poke.
What?
He wore clothes enforced with iron rods and prevented anyone from touching him. In 1633, the Shanxi province in Imperial China was ground zero to the Great Plague in the late Ming Dynasty.
Oh!
More than half of the population
Oh.
got sick that year, and over 90% of the province's population was dead 9 years later.
Over 90%. That's crazy.
The Roman Colosseum used to be covered in marble, but after Rome fell, the marble was looted by big-titty goth pillagers.
Damn, they had big titty goth girlfriends and the Roman Empire? Bruh, they've been around forever.
Mariana Trench was first discovered in 1875. It is measured at about 36,000 feet or 11,000 meters deep at its lowest point. Dr. John Kellogg, creator of the famous cereal brand, invented cornflakes and graham crackers to prevent his patients from gooning. The ancient African
How is a graham cracker gonna stop you from gooning? How? It's a graham cracker. How is that going to stop you?
city of Timbuktu was founded in the 5th century. It served as a popular trade route for salt, gold, and people begrudgingly forced to work for free. During the 18th century in England, carrying around a pineapple was a telltale sign that you were rich as hell. Haters gonna hate, bruh. The chainsaw was invented by medical doctors as a tool for symphysiotomy, a
What?
procedure for aiding in childbirth.
Nah. 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 A chainsaw? For childbirth? I don't.
There's an ancient
think
text
so.
called the Voynich manuscript, handwritten in an unknown language that has never been deciphered. Wait, what's that say? Oh, would you look at
Subscribe,
that?
weird.
Famous silly named astronomer Galileo Galilei discovered the planet of Jupiter using a handheld telescope in 1610.
Damn.
So you know how the US government banned alcohol during the Prohibition in the 1920s and 1930s? Well, people still wanted to get absolutely
We want beer. We want beer.
slizzard, so they resorted to stealing and drinking industrial alcohol. You know, like rubbing alcohol used
Oh, I bet that was burning.
to treat wounds. Yeah, you're not supposed to drink that stuff because industrial alcohol is commonly denatured, meaning that toxic additives like kerosene or
Jesus.
acetone are mixed in to prevent people from drinking it. What's fun is that this didn't really stop anyone from power chugging the stuff, so they could feel all wavy and wiggly. The mass consumption resulted in the deaths of around 10,000 Americans.
Wow.
Cheers.
That's
The
a
most
lot.
successful pirate in history was a woman. Qing Shi was the commander of the Chinese Red Flag Fleet, which consisted of over 300 warships and about 80,000 crew. Move over, Blackbeard. About 90%
That's
of the
cool.
world's fresh water is frozen in Antarctica's ice shelves. Humanity's been trying to melt it out of there for ages. In 1998, over
Bro.
1,200 human bones were found in Benjamin
Whoa. Why? Whoa. 1,200 human bones. Benjamin Franklin?
Franklin's house. They were used to study human anatomy, or so they say. Pablo Picasso
I think they were doing shady business in there. Used to study human anatomy, okay, but why do you need 1,200 of them?
Picasso's first painting was called El Picador, which he created at just 8 years old. It sucked.
What do you mean it sucked? That's like 10 times better than the paintings I can do nowadays.
I wrote most of this script on February 29th, 2024. Happy leap year. Pope Gregory IX declared war on cats. Roman Emperor Caligula declared war on the sea. Athletes in the ancient Olympics competed completely naked to show off the guns and show off the buns. The word robot comes from the Czech word robota, meaning forced labor.
Damn. So robots are just forced labor. Confirmed.
Year 536 is commonly referred to as the worst year in history to be alive. A volcanic eruption in Europe farted out enough dust and debris to cause a multi-year winter. The lack of
Jeez.
sunlight dropped average global temperatures by several degrees, causing crop failure and famine in Europe and Asia. Oh yeah, and then the plague showed up.
Oh yeah, you guys weren't having a hardship enough? Here, you have this nice little plague to deal with now too. Nice.
Napoleon's horse was named Marengo. Established in the year
Marengo.
930, Iceland has the oldest...
Holy shit, dragons exist in history. I'm kidding.
Established in the year 930, Iceland has the oldest parliament in the world.
Oh.
The 13th Grand Duke of Lithuania was Jogaila Algirdaitis. He was also King of Poland. According to a 2021 census, 55% of Isle of Man residents identify as Christian. 44% aren't religious at all.
No.
Abraham Lincoln was a licensed bartender.
Nice.
The first capital of the ancient city of Assyria was Ashur. Now you can get across the Bridge of Death.
What is the capital of Assyria?
Ashur.
Right, off you go.
The very
go.
first known written language is Sumerian, with the earliest known usage dating back to 3100 BC in Mesopotamia. The German MG-42 machine gun used in World War II has a firing rate of up to 1,500 rounds per minute.
What?
With an effective range of up to 2,000 meters.
Whoa.
In the Roman Empire, a triumvir monetalis was someone who minted coins. The Great Fire of London in 1666 started in a small bakery and quickly engulfed the majority of the city for 4 days.
Damn. Oh,
Firefighting methods at the time were no more than buckets of water or destroying other buildings to stop the spread. In the end, 85% of the city's residents were now homeless.
Jesus.
On the bright side, only 6 people reportedly died, so there's a spark of
that's
positivity.
good.
The Ottoman Empire was founded in 1299 and fell in 1922. At the end of World War II, Russian citizens decided to party hard. So hard, in fact, that the entire country's vodka reserves were tapped out in just 22 hours. Nostrovia. In 1970,
Bro, and they probably have hella vodka in Russia. What? Imagine in 22 hours they drink. What? That's a lot.
1973, Chinese Supreme Communist overlord Mao Zedong offered the United States 10 million Chinese women. As a joke. Instead, he ended up killing 40 to 80 million people during his totalitarian dictatorship.
What?
It was supposed to be a great leap forward, Mao.
What do you mean a great leap forward, brah?
A popular fad in the 1950s was phone booth stuffing.
Why?
And just like my romantic endeavors, it didn't last long. Julius
blame
Caesar
it.
was stabbed 23 times.
Uh-huh. Damn.
Rich people in 19th century Europe were in harsh competition for who could collect the most unique and rare orchids. Too bad none of them pulled a Black Lotus.
Alexander the Great named over 20 cities after himself during his conquering of over 2 million square miles.
Why wouldn't you? Okay, realistically, if you're Alexander the Great in this scenario and you're conquering everywhere, why wouldn't you just name them all Alexandria or Alexander? Like, why wouldn't you? You're the one that's conquering them.
Miles of land by age 30. What have you done with your life?
In 1953,
I'm a cat girl on the internet. What else do you want me to do with my life? I got a couple more years before I hit 30, okay? I got time. I got time to conquer. Don't worry. Don't worry there, sir.
U.S. President Dwight Dimmadome Eisenhower was lassoed by cowboy Marty Montana on horseback during his inauguration speech. Nintendo was founded in 1889 by Fusajiro Yamauchi to produce Hanafuda playing cards. Famed philosopher Socrates didn't really like written words. He believed it was an inefficient way to communicate knowledge and that it would make
Why is there a D in fridge, but not in refrigerator?
people lazy and ruin their ability to use the power of memory to recall information. Thus, people would rely on text to retrieve information instead of fully understanding concepts. As a result, the stubborn asshole never wrote anything down. J.R.R. Tolkien's full name was John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. You read the Harry Potter books, right?
Am I going to crash up at the end of this, or are we going to make it to the end of this? Tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Ocean Civil War lasted 16 years, 6 months, 1 week, and 2 days.
Despite how old you think it was, the Aztec Empire was actually founded in 1428. King Henry VIII had 4 butt-wiping servants called Grooms of the Stool. For their services, all 4 were formally knighted. At the start of World War I,
4. You have 4. Brother.
The US Air Force had only 18 pilots and 12 airplanes.
That's
In
crazy.
ancient Asia, death by elephant was a popular execution method. Germany fully controlled 4 colonies.
A popular execution method? Death by elephant? Do they just put the person in a pen with an elephant or what? Like, there's no way that you train the elephant to do that.
Death by elephant was a popular execution method. Germany fully controlled 4 colonies during the scramble for Africa in the 1800s and 1900s. They included territories in modern-day Burundi, Cameroon, Namibia, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Togo. On average, Germany uncovers about 2,000 tons of unexploded bombs every year.
That's
The wealthy
a
class in
lot.
Victorian England loved making themselves as white as possible, so they would eat and bathe in arsenic to lighten their complexion.
How the times have changed galore.
The first version of the internet, called ARPANET, began as a connection between 2 computers in California in 1969. It eventually branched out to multiple computers
So we can blame California for the internet? Confirmed. Alrighty.
for research purposes and information sharing, forming an intercommunication network, shortened to internetwork, and shortened more to the internet. Nowadays, you can watch someone press their feet into a webcam halfway across the world for $3.99 an hour.
Heck yeah, we can. Sometimes it's even $5.99 an hour. Or you can subscribe to a Silly Cat Girl on the internet and watch Silly Cat Girl on the internet react to content like this. Smiley face.
Or so I've heard. China was actually the first country to use paper money all the way back in the 7th century because coins were just too dang heavy for merchants to lug around all the time. Roman gladiator blood was once used as a cure for epilepsy. It didn't work. Using forks
I would like to know the theory why they thought Roman blood could be curing epilepsy. I would just like to know, like, that thought process, where they came up with that conclusion.
to eat food used to be considered offensive to God since he gave you hands to eat with. In the 1856 Belgian general election, Catholics won the Chamber of Representatives 63-45 against the Liberal Party. The Secretary of the Navy during the United States Civil War was Gideon Welles.
Bro, I think of Gideon. This is going to be a niche, okay? I think of Gideon and I think of Legends of Evantress.
He had 8 children. The first modern Olympic Games were held in Athens, Greece in 1896. The first silver medalist, gold medals didn't exist yet, was American James B. Connolly in the triple jump.
That's cool.
Winston Churchill reportedly smoked up to 15 cigars a day. Private George
15? Why do you smoke 15 cigars a day?
Price of the Canadian Army was the last casualty of World War I. On November 11th, 1918, he was hit in the chest by a sniper at 10:58 a.m. in Mons, Belgium.
That's
2
crazy.
minutes before the war officially
that's
ended.
crazy.
Sorry about that. The first emperor of Japan was legendary Emperor Jimmu, a claimed descendant of the sun god Amaterasu, though there is no evidence
Chat, do I say it? Should I say it? Should I say it? I'm not gonna say it. You guys know what I'm gonna say? You guys can say it for me in the chat, okay?
that he actually existed. Robert Liston was a British surgeon in the 1800s, famous for his swift surgeries. In a time where the best anesthetics were a shot of whiskey and a stick to bite on, speed was critical to minimize pain. During his most famous surgery, Liston set a leg amputation 80% record in just 2.5 minutes flat,
A record?
severing the fingers of his assistant and accidentally stabbing a nearby spectator. All 3 men died. Basketball was invented in 1891 by Canadian-American physician
was.
James Naismith. You put ball in basket. Fun.
And you get
During
basketball.
World War II, Americans called hamburgers Liberty Steaks and sauerkraut.
Americans, please explain yourself in the chat right now. Where are my Americans at? Liberty Steaks? What is this? What?
Liberty cabbage. The
Liberty
weather in
cabbage.
Phoenix, Arizona in the US on April 20th, 1969 at around 5 p.m. was 90 degrees Fahrenheit with winds east-southeast at 8 miles per hour. The Lebanese city of Tyre was founded in 2750 BC. The first instance of income tax in the US started in 1861 to raise
The first case of income tax?
of Tyre was founded in 2750 BC. The first instance of income tax in the
Yep. Can we go back to this day in history, please?
US started in 1861 to raise funds for the Civil War. Anyone making over $800, or the equivalent of $28,000
Jesus.
today, was taxed a flat rate of 3%. Marie Antoinette's music teacher was a German
3%?
opera composer by the name of Christoph Willibald Gluck. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time came out in November of 1998, and I'm still playing it.
Damn, 1998. Jesus. Jeez.
No witches were actually burned alive during the Salem witch trials. Instead, they were just hanged, which is quicker and
Yeah. Oh, they weren't burned. Meh. Yeah, they still fucking died though, but they weren't burned, okay? Like, brother.
doesn't smell as bad. In 1644, eating pie was banned in England. Meat
What?
pies, fruit pies, your wife's pie.
How are you going to ban? I just got the last one, but how are you going to ban pies in England when they love pies? What?
All of them. Prince Louis Rwagasore of
What?
Burundi is regarded as a national hero. He led a political resistance against Belgium and demanded independence from the colonizers. He was elected second prime minister of Burundi in 1961 and served his country for 2 weeks before he was assassinated by political opponents. Burundi was granted independence from Belgium a year later. The Kingdom of Karagwe in modern-day Tanzania was disestablished in 1963. Adolf Hitler helped design the Volkswagen Beetle. A carrier pigeon named Commando successfully carried out over 90 missions during World War II. He even
Bro, Commando!
got a medal. The fifth leader of the Soviet Union was Leonid Brezhnev, and the guy had eyebrows for days. The 27th state added to the US was Florida.
Wow.
Despite humans being
Wow, the 27th state, guys. Florida, the coolest state ever. The one that we all know as shit goes down in Florida.
around for over 200,000 years, written history is only 6,000 years old. So who knows what they did? Probably hucked rocks at each other. The Industrial Revolution in the US began in 1760 and lasted all the way until 1840.
Damn.
The popular game Jenga experienced a lull of sales in 2001 because Jenga towers weren't the only ones to fall that year.
Oh, sorry, the demon just possessed me. Oh, okay.
Silk was first used in clothing back in China in 3630 BC. Silky smooth. During the stock market crash of 1929, the Dow Jones Index, which tracks 30 of the biggest US companies, fell 89% when it bottomed out in the summer of 1932. It took 22 years to get back to pre-crash heights. That's why I invest responsibly. All on red.
Oh, heck yeah! Another roulette player, let's go. I personally like going all on black, but you know, to each their own, you know what I mean? Guys, I actually don't do that. I am joking.
That was a lot of useless information.
Yeah, all on black.
Click here to learn something else.
Girl, I'm glad that we agree that we're all in black. That's the way to do it. Just kidding. Do not gamble. Do not do that. Actually, yeah, do not do that. Do not do that. Do not do that. Ow, I just smacked my knee into the desk. God damn it. Thank you, stream, for hanging out with me and watching this with me. Thank you, YouTube, for watching this with me. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, what can we comment down? Anything cool that happened that we comment? Oh, comment down the hamburger emoji for the freaking Liberty steak, whatever that was. But if you made it through, hamburger emoji. If you don't have the hamburger emoji, just type the word hamburger. It does the same thing. It makes me super happy. So I think you guys should do it to, you know, boost my mood and make me happy because I love seeing it. But have a wonderful day. Thank you. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys all on the flip side. Goodbye, goodbye.